In today's fast-paced world, the true key to achieving success isn't just talent or intelligence, but something far more fundamental: discipline. Despite its crucial role, many of us find that discipline is a trait seldom emphasized throughout our traditional education, leaving us unprepared for the challenges we face. Today, we're diving deep into the essence of self-discipline, inspired by the profound insights from Ryan Holiday's book, Discipline is Destiny: The Power of Self-Control. This guide doesn't just skim the surface, but explores the core principles that can fortify your mental resilience and transform your approach to daily challenges. In this video, we'll uncover 7 Stoic lessons that are essential for anyone looking to strengthen their self-discipline. These lessons are more than just tips. They are a way of reshaping how you view adversity, control your impulses, and handle life's inevitable pressures. Whether you're facing career challenges, personal obstacles, or simply striving to improve your everyday habits, these insights will equip you with the tools to remain steadfast and focused. So, if you're ready to turn your hardest days into your most productive ones, stay tuned as we explore how to harness the power of discipline to not only survive but thrive in the face of adversity. Let's embark on this journey together, learning how to master ourselves to ultimately master our lives. 1. Say no to pleasure. Our bodies often don't know what's best for us. They push us to eat more than necessary or to keep drinking long after we should have stopped. But just because our bodies crave something doesn't mean it's good for us. Think about it. How many times have you overeaten or overindulged and then felt miserable? That regret and discomfort you feel the next morning is a clear sign that going overboard isn't worth it. Instead of focusing on the immediate pleasure, it's crucial to consider the consequences. What happens after the fun is over? When you look in the mirror and see the results of your indulgences, or when you can't fit into your favorite pants, you might start to question if it was really worth it. Self-discipline isn't about avoiding enjoyment because it's wrong or sinful. Rather, it's about preventing the pain and trouble that come from giving in to every whim. By controlling our impulses, we avoid creating unnecessary hardship for ourselves. There's a big difference between total abstinence and moderation. Abstinence is about cutting something out entirely, while moderation is about finding a balance. It's knowing when to stop. It's the ability to enjoy a slice of cake without needing to eat the whole thing, or to have a single glass of wine rather than finishing the bottle. Being disciplined means making choices that keep us from spiraling out of control. It's about valuing our mental and physical health more than a fleeting moment of satisfaction. By practicing self-discipline, we prioritize our long-term happiness and stability over short-term temptations. We show that we respect ourselves by managing our desires and understanding our limits. This isn't about punishment. It's about choosing a lifestyle that minimizes regrets and maximizes well-being. 2. Seek discomfort. Seneca was an immensely wealthy man who inherited his family's fortune and made smart investments across the Roman Empire. Despite his opulence, he understood the value of discomfort and regularly chose to live in less luxurious conditions for several days at a time. He would put on coarse, worn-out clothes and sleep on the ground with only a piece of stale bread and water to sustain him. When recommending this practice to his friends, he insisted on making these experiences as realistic as possible, advising them to eat hard bread and sleep on a wooden plank to make it genuine rather than a mere amusement. Seneca did this because he realized that many of his fellow citizens lived in such conditions daily. He wanted to prove to himself that he could endure these challenges voluntarily and that the lifestyle was survivable. His wealthy peers feared living like this, causing them to become overly cautious and worried about maintaining their comfortable lifestyle. Seneca would remind himself, "Is this really what you're afraid of?" By stepping out of his comfort zone, he built a perspective that helped him develop resilience and face adversity head-on. When the unpredictable and dangerous Emperor Nero started becoming unstable, Seneca offered all his riches to secure his freedom. Nero couldn't fathom why anyone would give up so much wealth, but for Seneca, it was an easy decision. Unlike Seneca's approach, most of us avoid anything that seems unpleasant. We associate success with never struggling and always having everything within reach. Why endure cold temperatures when we can crank up the AC? Why carry heavy items when someone else can do it for us? Why walk when we can drive? However, living in constant comfort makes us dependent and fearful of losing these conveniences. We become addicted to our cozy routines, terrified of any changes that might disrupt them. Yet, some people value discomfort, pushing themselves by running marathons, sleeping on the ground, or lifting heavy weights. These challenges toughen us up and make us less afraid of hardships. Self-discipline starts with our bodies, but it doesn't happen by accident. We need to expose ourselves to challenges because life will eventually bring us discomfort whether we like it or not. It's better to be prepared. Those who can adapt to tough times and change are more resilient, happier, and harder to beat. Being moderate now, while times are good, will help us build that resilience because good times never last forever. So, embrace challenges instead of running from them. The courage you build will make life's obstacles easier to overcome, and you'll gain the mental toughness to tackle anything that comes your way. 3. Don't be slave to bad habits. Dwight Eisenhower, a remarkable leader, achieved many great things throughout his life. He was a key figure in WW helped defeat the Nazis, and later served as the President of the United States. Despite these monumental achievements, one of his personal battles was against his own smoking habit. For 38 years, Eisenhower smoked 3 to 4 packs of cigarettes daily, but in 1949, he faced this challenge head-on. Realizing the detrimental impact on his health, he decided to quit smoking abruptly, adopting the mantra, "The only way to stop is to stop." From that moment, he never smoked again. Eisenhower's decision to quit was driven by a profound sense of duty to maintain his health, not just for his own benefit, but to continue serving his country effectively. By overcoming this personal challenge, he demonstrated immense willpower and added years to his life. In our modern society, many of us are similarly bound by various habits that may seem harmless or socially acceptable, like consuming too much sugar, spending hours on social media platforms like TikTok and Instagram, or binge-watching television. However, the question isn't just whether these habits are harmful, but whether they contribute positively to our lives. Like Eisenhower, we must ask ourselves whether these habits serve us, or if we are merely serving them. It's easy to become enslaved by our desires and impulses, letting them dictate how we live our lives. But why should we let these habits command us? Why be a slave to routines and addictions that don't bring us genuine happiness or health? We often forget that we have the choice to change. Every day presents a new opportunity to break free from the chains we've placed on ourselves. If you were introduced to your habits today with full knowledge of their consequences, would you still embrace them? Would you choose to start smoking, overeating, or wasting time on trivial digital activities if you knew they would lead to long-term unhappiness? The good news is that it's never too late to change. No matter how long you've been stuck in a cycle, you can decide to break it. Eisenhower was 58 when he quit smoking, proving that change is possible at any stage of life. It's not about how long you've been engaged in a habit, but about what you choose to do about it today. Take control of your life by choosing to end bad habits now. Don't let past decisions dictate your future. Each moment is a chance to steer your life in a healthier, happier direction. Be the master of your actions, not a slave to your impulses. Let Eisenhower's determination inspire you to reclaim your freedom and lead a life dictated by your choices, not your habits. 4. Simplicity better than excess. Cato the Elder was renowned for his stark frugality and minimalist lifestyle. He avoided the trappings of wealth, choosing instead to live simply, much like his slaves, sharing their wine and even laboring in the fields alongside them. His home was modest, mirroring the simple living quarters of Manius Curius, a figure he greatly admired. When powerful emissaries once tried to bribe Curius with riches, they found him cooking turnips in his humble kitchen, an act that highlighted his indifference to wealth and luxury. This same spirit of simplicity was evident in Cato's life. He consistently turned down expensive gifts and rewards, firmly believing that desiring more than we need exposes us to vulnerability and manipulation. Similarly, the boxer Reuben Carter, during his time in prison, chose to live with minimal comforts. He rejected the usual prison amenities like pillows, radios, and TVs, which made it harder for anyone to control or manipulate him. This intentional deprivation was his way of maintaining autonomy over his life, even under dire circumstances. The philosophy behind such minimalist living might seem daunting, but it often leads to a less complicated and more satisfying life. With fewer possessions and desires, you worry less, free from the constant chase after material wealth that never truly satisfies. This way of living doesn't just save you from the stress of debt or the endless cycle of upgrading to the latest trends, it also empowers you. In today's consumer-driven world, where advertisements constantly bombard us with messages that owning more will make us happier, it's crucial to step back and evaluate the truth of these claims. Reflect on your own experiences. How long did the joy from your last impulsive purchase last? Do you genuinely feel deprived when you think back to simpler times with fewer possessions? Here's a profound truth. By desiring less, you gain more freedom and power over your life. This principle is not just about saving money or avoiding debt. It's about establishing a sense of peace and contentment that no amount of material wealth can provide. Embracing simplicity is not about denying yourself enjoyment, but about redefining what truly brings happiness and fulfillment. So next time you're tempted by the latest gadget, fashion, or trend, ask yourself if it will genuinely add value to your life, or if it's just another desire that will soon fade, leaving you wanting more. Choosing simplicity helps you focus on what's truly important in life, leading to greater satisfaction and a genuine sense of wealth that money can't buy. 5. Step back to move forward. When Octavian, later known as Augustus Caesar, ascended as Julius Caesar's heir at just 18, he faced enormous expectations to equal, if not surpass, his adoptive father's legendary accomplishments. Despite the weight of these expectations, Octavian chose a path marked not by haste, but by deliberate and thoughtful progress. He wisely spent time under the guidance of Stoic philosophers Athenodorus and Arrius Didymus, who instilled in him the values of patience and careful planning. For nearly a decade, Octavian shared rule with Mark Antony, and then he guided the Senate for almost 5 years. His ascent to becoming Augustus Caesar in 27 BC was neither rapid nor rushed. It was the result of a methodical approach that prioritized long-term stability over short-term gains. Upon assuming control, Octavian didn't just seek to maintain Rome as it was. He embarked on an ambitious project to rebuild the city, transforming it from a place of bricks to a grand empire of marble. This transformation of Rome serves as a powerful metaphor for his leadership style. The city did not change overnight. Each step was carefully planned and executed with precision, demonstrating that true progress often comes from slowing down and ensuring things are done correctly rather than hastily. Octavian's reign, which eventually ushered in a period of peace known as the Pax Romana, exemplifies the benefits that can come from taking a measured approach to challenges and responsibilities. In today's fast-paced world, where speed and immediate results are often valued above all, Octavian's story teaches us the importance of disciplined pacing and attention to detail. Hustling and being busy are not inherently productive. True efficiency involves moving forward with purposeful and steady steps. It's crucial to manage the urge to rush, especially when faced with external pressures or personal ambition. Eagerness to act can be a great motivator, but without proper direction, it can lead to mistakes and missed opportunities. Understanding that it's acceptable to progress slowly helps in maintaining focus on achieving thorough, high-quality outcomes rather than superficial quick fixes. This approach doesn't just apply to grand ventures or leadership roles. It's relevant to everyday tasks and long-term personal goals. Whether you're working on a project, learning a new skill, or building a relationship, remember that meaningful achievements require time and persistence. By embracing the principle of slow down to go faster, we can ensure that our actions are thoughtful and our progress sustainable. Just as Octavian laid down each piece of marble with care, we too can build our empires, whatever they may be, with deliberate and purposeful actions that stand the test of time. 6. Face challenges. King George III's infamous indulgence in luxury and excess serves as a stark lesson on the perils of an undisciplined life. Famous for his extravagant feasts that included pigeons, steaks, wine, and brandy, he led a life marked by overindulgence. Over the years, his health deteriorated drastically. He grew so overweight that he feared suffocation if he lay flat to sleep. His inability to manage his basic duties became so severe that he resorted to using a stamp for his signature to avoid the physical exertion of writing. Ignoring his kingly responsibilities and his health, he lived as though he was exempt from the consequences of his lifestyle. This reckless living ultimately led to his demise one summer night in 1830, when the reality of his mortality finally struck him as he gasped in disbelief at his impending death. Contrast this with the life of President Theodore Roosevelt, who, despite being plagued by asthma and poor eyesight since childhood, took a markedly different approach to life's challenges. Rather than succumbing to his physical limitations, Roosevelt embraced a vigorous lifestyle. Encouraged by his father, he engaged in rowing, boxing, wrestling, hiking, and football, pushing himself to the limits of his endurance. This commitment to physical exertion was not just about maintaining health, it was a profound declaration of his values. Even during his presidency, Roosevelt dedicated hours each day to physical activity, demonstrating his belief that a life of challenge is a life of fulfillment. Roosevelt's example underscores the notion that embracing difficulty and exerting ourselves physically and mentally can lead to extraordinary achievements. This ethos is especially relevant today, in a society where many young Americans find themselves disqualified from military service due to preventable health and fitness issues. This is not merely a personal problem, but a matter of national concern. Our bodies are remarkably engineered, akin to high-performance vehicles, but they require the right fuel and maintenance to function optimally. Neglecting our health is akin to neglecting our highest potentials. Whether it's through disciplined exercise, mindful eating, or avoiding harmful substances, taking care of our physical well-being is fundamental not only for personal success, but also for our contribution to society. Life invariably presents us with challenges and setbacks, but we have control over our responses. Choosing to engage in physical activities, whether it's swimming, weightlifting, jiu-jitsu, or simply taking long walks, is a way to fortify ourselves against life's inevitable difficulties. Embracing a challenging life doesn't mean rejecting pleasure altogether. Rather, it means earning our pleasures through disciplined effort. It's about transforming pleasure from a mere indulgence into a well-deserved reward for our hard work. King George and Roosevelt represent two paths, one of surrender to desire and one of mastery over it. As we navigate our own lives, we must decide whether to let our circumstances define us or to define ourselves through our actions. Will you follow in the footsteps of indulgence, or will you choose the rewarding path of resilience and self-discipline? 7. Silence is gold. The Spartans, famed for their martial prowess, also exemplified a remarkable discipline in their communication. They were adept at using minimal words to convey powerful messages, a trait that underscored their mental fortitude as much as their physical strength. Their concise speech became legendary, particularly in moments of conflict. For example, when faced with the threat that Persian arrows would darken the skies, Leonidas famously retorted, "Then we shall fight in the shade." Similarly, when warned of imminent destruction if enemies breached their walls, a Spartan warrior simply said, "if." Their economy of words was a deliberate strategy. They chose silence over superfluous speech, believing that fewer words held greater impact. This Spartan approach to speech was about more than brevity. It was a philosophy of life. They believed that not every silence needed to be filled, nor every provocation responded to. In our current era, where digital platforms and social media encourage constant dialogue and immediate reactions, the Spartan ethos invites us to reconsider our compulsion to speak. The ease of broadcasting our thoughts to the world often dilutes the thoughtfulness and impact of what we say. Embracing silence and speaking only when necessary can be a profound exercise in self-control. It forces us to think more deeply about our words and their effects. By choosing when and how to speak, we can make our words more meaningful and powerful. Silence can also be a strategic tool in navigating social interactions. It allows us to listen more attentively, understand more deeply, and respond more thoughtfully. In debates or conflicts, a well-timed pause can diffuse tension and convey confidence. Moreover, practicing restraint in our speech encourages others to value our words more highly when we do choose to speak. It's a reminder that not all thoughts need to be shared publicly, and that in some cases, silence can express more than words could. As Zeno, the founder of Stoicism, taught his followers with the adage, "2 ears, 1 mouth," we should listen twice as much as we speak, valuing the input of others and reflecting before adding our voice to the mix. In a world brimming with constant noise, choosing strategic silence can be a powerful stance. It challenges the norm of perpetual communication and helps cultivate an inner peace that comes from thoughtful deliberation rather than reactive speech. Silence is not just a lack of words, but a deliberate pause that can enrich both our thoughts and our actions. So next time you find yourself in a conversation or a heated debate, remember the Spartan lesson. Sometimes, strength lies in what we choose not to say, letting our actions and the quality of our few chosen words speak volumes. As we reflect on the narratives and lessons shared above, from the disciplined silence of the Spartans to the transformative patience of Octavian, it's clear that the path to achieving true greatness and personal satisfaction often diverges from the conventional routes of indulgence and haste. These stories are not merely historical recollections or philosophical musings. They are powerful reminders of the enduring values that can guide us in navigating our own lives. The journey of self-discipline, whether it manifests as embracing discomfort, mastering our impulses, or choosing meaningful silence, challenges us to confront our weaknesses and transform them into strengths. It compels us to look beyond the immediate and fleeting, urging us to focus on the substantial and lasting. Let us take inspiration from these lessons, applying them to our everyday decisions and interactions. May we strive to live with intention and integrity, embracing the challenges that come our way as opportunities to grow and affirm our values. By doing so, we not only enhance our own lives but also contribute to a richer, more thoughtful world. In conclusion, whether it's through the stoic resolve to resist unnecessary luxuries, the courage to face life's physical and mental challenges, or the wisdom to know when silence speaks louder than words, the essence of these teachings is universally applicable. Let us move forward with the resolve to apply these principles, crafting lives marked by purpose, resilience, and discernment. This is the true art of living well, a pursuit that never grows old and continually proves its worth in every aspect of life.